hope everyone's doing well and welcome back to another weekly outlook. So cool, let's get straight into it. So if you guys recall from last week, right, we actually said the likelihood is we want to see price trade higher. We want to see it trade towards this target. Come on the daily time frame, see what this target is. It's a cluster of buy side liquidity. And if we take a look at the current week that just passed, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, essentially, range low being put in basically Monday and being sort of retouched on the Wednesday, and Thursday went the high of the week. But what we can see here is a lot of clustered bodies. And what these clustered bodies usually tell you is there's a level of accumulation, right? When you see bodies printing next to each other with wicks either side, what that's showing us is that price is essentially consolidated. And if we come one time frame lower onto the 4 hour, we can see, after that initial big expansion on Tuesday, we pretty much just stayed in this zone. So what do we expect next? Now, I do think some sell side was flushed out by this wick. I do expect this wick, which is the low of the week or previous weekly low, to stay. I don't expect this to get violated. And I still want to hunt for higher prices towards this buy side liquidity, right? So very simple on the DXY. We just want to carry on looking for higher prices. The weekly chart, in my opinion, is still poised towards higher prices. We want to see price reach this buy side target, and then from there we will consider the reversal. For the time being, that's all we can really play. We do know, which is a previous monthly high, which we said last time, by the way. We're in a bit of a consolidation, so we can simply just wait for an internal sweep of potentially this low, something along those lines, and then wait for that kick up to engage and take trade higher. Cool. So US 10-year, not much to add this week, if I'm being honest. It did have that initial expansion up. I do think it can still push higher from here. It's come from the discount of this sort of internal range. It went very close to the equilibrium and moved higher. And from here, we have bullish order flow. I would expect that to continue for now, right? I would anticipate that this stays bullish. We might get sweep on some of this buy side, and then maybe in line with the DXY, we start getting a drop on this. Now, very similar. So the range here, we can essentially extend to this current high. There's still a good chance that we could come down and sweep this consolidation for a continuation. If we look at the weekly, right, I believe a sweep on that, yep, would lead into a weekly fair value gap that is in discount, right? For that, we would need some sort of driver, but that weekly close there, sweeping this candle's high, sweeping the previous two candles highs, and then going back into the range could possibly mean that we are set up to trade lower to here before continuation higher. Just something I would watch for the time being. You just really want to see how, sort of order flow on this is looking. It really wants to give us that kick down. For the time being, if we have a quick look, right, not much on the Monday again. Pound news on the Tuesday to watch for, not much on the Wednesday, and then Thursday is jam-packed with news. And then Friday, again, we have another GBP red folder. So there is a good chance we might get some solid movement on this pair this week, right? In line with the DXY, right? If we're expecting higher prices for the time being, we're expecting this to potentially drop, then we'd be looking at Euro USD shorts. We did say we want to see shorts, right? Temporarily, at least. Leading into most likely, I believe the cluster would line up somewhere here. It's likely that we probably wouldn't reach this if Euro keeps showing strength. If you look on GU, target for shorts, already taking some equal lows. We may trade towards this consolidation. It's not as clear cut as the DXY, I would say. It's not as easy to sort of read or have a sort of pinpoint, we want to sweep here and a reversal, but sort of around here, right? Deeper into that discount before we can start looking for continuation the other way. CAD, very, very consolidated chart. As like I said to you guys, when you have the cluster bodies on given time frame, you drop a time frame, it just becomes very obvious that's a consolidation, of course, right? And as we can see here, USDCAD, big consolidation, lots of sell side liquidity building up. I would watch for a sweep on this range higher potentially. DXY still has room to go higher, remember. And once that is taken out, then potentially we can consider shorts to our sort of higher time frame target heading lower here. I would really, if it really gives us the kick up, may potentially sell for OTE. I do expect it to sweep this high. That would lead into around the 0.62, and it may not be a bad shot at all to go ahead and short again and aim for here. If we look at USDJPY, was clearly stronger than USDCAD. It's already swept that sort of internal buy side. It's hard to say how far it will reach, but overall, of course, we were short, remained short on a higher time frame. But in regards to opportunity for that, there's not much going on. It's one of those pairs right now where you'd rather let it give the reversal and then attempt to align with it if it seems like a good choice at the time. What do we use? Go with... Okay, cool. So yeah, honestly, not much to add. We did speak about it last week. Really not expecting much. We did have a bit of a sweep. We had sort of OT, wanted to kick up, but from essentially the Monday all price is done, it stays sideways. And gold's one of those markets right now. It's really waiting for a kick out. There's nothing to sort of stimulate or cause that move at the moment. So it's just stuck in this very large range for the time being. But the range keeps getting tighter, so there's a good likelihood at some point a breakout will occur either way. S&P. So if you guys recall from last week, we mentioned this weekly fair value gap. This can still remain as a target. Price is willing to give us that reversal. It doesn't really look like it wants to, but we have an accumulation. We've had the run above, and now we have equal lows on this side leading into that weekly fair value gap. I do think it's just a matter of time before we get that reversal. I'd really be watching when this new week opens, potentially for a previous weekly high sweep to then trade lower into this range. It's the sort of opportunity I would be looking for. Bitcoin, very strong bullish chart, finally catching up to the stocks as we expected, right? We had this monthly order block, manipulation, or OT, all of the above, essentially. And then a big impulse move, and now we've started building a new range. The new range low will go from here to wherever we place the high. So for the time being, I do think we're still in that range building stage. Do I think it has a lot more room to go higher? I think the odds are probably not as high as people think. Like, people are on Twitter and whatnot saying 200k to 300k. I'm seeing ridiculous things. The odds are it's not going to hyperextend all the way up here, right? That's 200k. That's not happening. If you were to tell me, yeah, maybe 130, that's a bit more believable. Even there, it seems like it will be hyperextend. Essentially, it's a very big one-way move on that monthly time frame. If you go on the weekly, we see even there, big move, consolidation, and still a big move. For now, I wouldn't put it off in the sense of, that's it, we're going to reverse, we're ready to go down. No, I do think if we play the shorter range, or the smaller range rather, from this low to this current high, price has room to move into what is going to be a weekly fair value gap once this week closes in 5 hours. Watch this candle. If price is trading through this, we can watch this whole area as an order block. I do think we can still get some juice squeezed out of Bitcoin. It's peaked at around 123k right now. I think even a simple push towards 125, 130 is still in the books for Bitcoin, but nothing too crazy. I wouldn't be too ambitious. I'd be very cautious here, constantly longing it. If it gives a very clear opportunity, shorts won't be bad. But it's one of those charts now, including the stocks, where it is very extended. And if there's going to be a big reversal, that reversal is not, it's going to be caused by something big. It's not going to, just suddenly drop like, oh yeah, we're in a bear market now. So it is important everyone's watching the sort of macroeconomic factors that are driving these markets as well. But yeah, guys, that is it for the weekly outlook. As usual, any questions at all, anything I can help with, please just drop me a message.